required. Our program helps reset your metabolism so you can keep the weight off for good with a coach for ongoing support. Our program costs up to half as much and works up to twice as fast as most other programs. Go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com to schedule your free consultation.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Steve Scaffidi. I've been on this weight loss journey for about 4 weeks, and I've already lost 20 pounds thanks to my amazing team at Milwaukee Weight Loss. My wife's on board. Kathy loves it, and we are both feeling more energized.
Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or two. That's up to a pound per day. Schedule your free consultation by calling 262-449-1180 or online at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Results may vary.
Are you tired of being tired? Go to AdventKnows.com.
Your trusted and relevant source for news, sports, traffic, and weather. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 9 o'clock, it is 36 degrees, mostly sunny today, 44 near the lake, 53 inland, clear tonight, and down to 32. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Adam Roberts. Dangers of a global trade war sparked in part by President Donald Trump's tariffs is growing deeper this morning.
And now it's Canada's turn, announcing $20 billion worth of retaliatory tariffs in response to the 25% steel and aluminum tariffs that President Donald Trump has leveled. This just hours after the EU announced its own tit-for-tat tariffs on certain U.S.-made industrial, farm, and consumer products. Trump's tariffs took effect today, though at the 11th hour, the president backed down from slapping Canada with an additional 25% on top of that. Vicki Barker, CBS News.
Those tariffs mentioned include a 25% notch against all aluminum and steel into the U.S., and businesses are navigating an uncertain economic space as a result. Lance Trailkill, owner of All Metals Fabricating north of Dallas, Texas, telling Wisconsin's Afternoon News he's been suffering since January.
Most of our aluminum comes from Canada. The heartbeat behind is to have more self-sustained resources, meaning mills in the United States. But the reality is we have 4 mills for aluminum in the United States, and it cannot even produce a tiny fraction of what U.S. manufacturers need.
President Trump's tariffs on steel and aluminum marked the first time in his second term that a tariff has been applied to all countries. Overnight, more job cuts in Washington, this time at the Department of Education, where more than 1,000 layoffs have been announced. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio.
Teachers fear gutting the department will leave vulnerable students even more vulnerable.
Whether that's safeguarding, racial minorities to make sure that educational outcomes are equitable for them. I mean, I think it's across the board.
But McMahon says it's time to eliminate bureaucratic bloat.
Well, clearly we're not taking away education. The president never said that. He's taken the bureaucracy out of education so that more money flows to the states.
It comes as President Trump faces growing pressure with his back and forth on tariffs, fueling turmoil on Wall Street.
Let's check those numbers now from the stock exchange on your WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. So far this morning, the Dow off, but not by as much as the last few days. Down about 0.4% this morning, 167 points in the red at 41,265. Meanwhile, some positive trajectory for the NASDAQ right now, up 193 points at 17,629. And the S&P 500 trying to get back above 6,000 points today. They're up 19 this hour. That's about 0.3% at 5,592. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are on the way next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, coming up on 9:04.
Don't think twice. Call Geis.
A great way to add value and curb appeal to your home is with a new LiftMaster or CHI maintenance-free garage door. Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik. A study by Remodelers Magazine reports that the average return on investment is an amazing 82%. Garage doors rank first among all home improvement projects. To see Geis's huge selection of doors, visit their showroom in Brookfield, or you can also visit their online showroom at geisdoors.com. Geis has everything from alley doors to custom wood designer doors and everything in between. Remember, for all your garage door needs, you call Geis at 262-784-4250. That number again, 262-784-4250. It's Geis. Visit them online at geisdoors.com.
Don't think twice. Call Dice.
We have an exciting giveaway this week on Spanning the State.
One fan will win 2 front row tickets to see the Beach Boys coming to the Riverside Theater Friday, May 23rd.
Tune in to Spanning the State this Friday.
With timeless songs that shaped music history, they continue to inspire generations.
Experience the music, the magic, the good vibrations. The Beach Boys are still making waves.
Win 2 front row tickets to the Beach Boys coming to Riverside Theater May 23rd. Tune in to Spanning the State this Friday.
The next time you're due for service, visit richlands.com to schedule an appointment at any of our 5 conveniently located facilities.
All AAA approved and all staffed by ASE certified technicians ready to serve you.
Richlands. Find furniture for life from Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk.
Here comes the inbound pass. Nembhard gets it to Halliburton. Off balance, the three. He hits it with a foul. You have got to be kidding me.
We are not kidding you, Dave Kane. He's got the call for you on WTMJ as a last-ditch three by Tyrese Halliburton went in for the Pacers Tuesday. Combine that with a Giannis foul, the bonus free throw, and an Indiana win over Milwaukee, 115-114. Head coach Doc Rivers after the game.
These are games, you win one during the year two, but these are games that just really haunt you.
The time the teams will meet up will be this weekend in Milwaukee. Next up for the Bucks, a home tilt on Thursday against the Lakers. The Brewers have an off day today in the desert. They'll face the White Sox tomorrow in Glendale, and both the Big East and Big Ten men's basketball tournaments starting up today. Marquette and Wisconsin each have a first-round bye. They'll begin their tournament action tomorrow. Badger Sports Updates are sponsored by Siding Unlimited. It's siding and a whole lot more. Let's check the roads now. Your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. Just one incident on the system. Right now it's on 4145 south at the ramp from Good Hope Road. Right shoulder block there, and that's due to a broken down vehicle. As far as slowdowns, our only real trouble spot is going to be 43 north. Heading up past Fond du Lac Avenue as you round the turn towards north, you'll run into some backups, and those are stretching north to about Capitol Drive right now. Then also a little bit slow as 4 lanes become 3 on 94 East, near about 84th Street, heading towards the stadium. Just a couple of extra minutes on that ride. Everywhere else, looking good so far this morning. And your WTMJ forecast for today, mostly sunny. It'll be cooler near the lake, 44 the high there, up to 53 inland. Mostly clear tonight with a low down to 32. The sun continues for your Thursday. Everyone gets a shot at the 50s, exactly 50 the high near the lake, close to 60 for the high inland. And we're watching for some weather on Friday. It'll be partly cloudy and windy with warm temperatures, low 60s near the lake, up to 70 inland. We are watching for some thunderstorms moving in late Friday into the overnight, and some of those storms could be strong to potentially the low end of severe. We'll keep a close eye on that over the next few days. Mostly cloudy, windy showers on Saturday and 57. More clouds Sunday, colder as well with a chance for flurries and a high of 39 degrees. Right now in Madison, it's partly cloudy, 35, clouds and 36 in Green Bay, clouds and 36 in Waukesha, and in Milwaukee, it's mostly cloudy with peaks of sun and 36 degrees. I'm Adam Roberts. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 9:08.
Good morning, Wisconsin. So let's pour that coffee and talk to some experts about what's going on in Milwaukee, Madison, Washington, and beyond. Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. It's the Political Power Hour on WTMJ. Here's your host, Steve Scaffidi.
Should we talk about the government?
Yes, here we are, Wednesday. Happy Hump Day to all those who celebrate. What's the date today? 12th of March already. We're ripping through March on our way to, St. Patrick's Day. And, Brewers baseball home opener, 3:31, I believe, is the day. Looking forward to anchoring our coverage from American Family Field all morning on that day. I haven't done it for a couple of years, so excited about that. But let's get to the politics. That's why they call it the Political Power Hour here on 620 WTMJ. I haven't talked to him in a while. I think he's still the chair of the Wisconsin Democratic Party. Ben Wickler. How you been, Ben?
It's a roller coaster. When people ask me how I'm doing, I say living the dream, fighting the nightmare.
Yeah, so you've had a lot of fun in the last few months. You ran for the national chair. That didn't work out well. But just before we move on to some other stuff, what did that experience teach you? What'd you learn from it?
It was fascinating. So I launched my campaign for Democratic National Committee chair on December 1st, and the election was exactly 2 months later on February 1st. And in that time, I talked to every member of the Democratic National Committee and got the endorsement of Becky Jeffries and Speaker Emeritus, future Speaker Jeffries and Nancy Pelosi, of the Senate Democrats, and the governors, a bunch of the down ballot elected officials, of the grassroots groups, of the unions, and ultimately, that's a lot of what makes up the party. But the members of the DNC is a whole kind of different group. And my fellow state party chair for next door, Minnesota, had been building relationships with them for years, and so he had their kind of their trust, and I knew him well, and I wish him the best possible success because it's a critical moment. I think what I got a real sense of is that everywhere in the party, across the full spectrum, from the center to the left, everyone is on the same page that we need to focus in on things that affect working families with a message about the kind of bread and butter issues that affect everybody, regardless of what you look like or who you love or where you live, that's what unites us as a party. And I think, and the sense was, we've kind of lost track of that in a way that voters in polls now, they say that Democrats are focused on other stuff instead of on their lives. And I think there really is a mandate for Democrats to do what Governor Evers is doing so beautifully, which is to just go after the GOP on things like the cost of health care and public schools, and to make the case for just making things better for everybody in the way that most voters want politicians out of their personal lives, and to make sure that the public stuff works well so that you can get into the middle class and afford a decent life. And if we do that, I think Democrats can win again. Yeah, I was going to ask you that because I think so much has been written about what happened in November, and I think just my assessment as somebody who talks about politics for a living is that I think many voters said, you know what, I don't know that Democrats are speaking for me, and you can disagree if you want to, but I think that's sort of that messaging. Maybe those folks in the middle felt like Democrats had abandoned them. Do you get that sense or no? So the answer is yes, but the reason why people have that sense, I think, is really important to underscore. Most people find out about Democrats from Republicans. Republicans have so much bigger kind of message apparatus. They dominate the radio airwaves. There's the massive machine of Fox News Channel and all the kind of copycat One American News networks and all these things. They have these huge online news networks that really push the algorithm. Elon Musk owns Twitter. So most of what people hear about what Democrats are up to are coming from partisan Republicans. And what they're trying to do all the time is to paint Democrats as extremists who don't understand, what middle-class families and working families face. And so for Democrats to correct this, it's not that they have to, abandon their core values. They just need to communicate more effectively in more places about the central thing that Democrats fight for, which is a country that works for working people. Like, it's Republicans trying to bust unions and take away overtime pay and take away the protections for clean air and water that people rely on. Democrats fight for those things. If nobody hears about it, if no one ever finds out that it's Democrats who are fighting to prevent big companies from ripping them off, and it's Republicans trying to shred the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, then of course voters will think Democrats don't care about them, because how would they find out? So a lot of the work to be done is to communicate more in more places with more messengers credibly in a way that shows our work and shows what Republicans are actually doing. And that's work the DNC should do. That's what we work to do in the Democratic Party of Wisconsin. It's work that anyone who doesn't like Elon Musk firing half of the Social Security Administration and the Veterans Administration, anyone who doesn't like that should get involved in spreading the word about what's actually happening. Those of us, again, who have talked about politics know that Donald Trump essentially ran for president for 4 years before he won his second term in November. Who's the Democrat or Democrats that are going to sort of pick up the mantle and run for their party's nomination? Who are some of the names you're thinking about right now? I will say Democrats have a very deep bench. There are governors and senators and different public officials. There are people who may not be on the radar screen right now who will probably emerge over these next years. I think the field is wide open, and my kind of message to folks who, if anyone thinking about running for president is out there right now, I would say the more the merrier. Go raise your voice. Go organize some town halls. Go travel the country. Go post on TikTok and Blue Sky and go on X, go on Elon Musk's home territory, go everywhere. We just need a whole bunch of voices because right now Trump and Musk are driving the daily news cycle, and there's just often not any response in these stories. Part of it's because they're moving at such a breakneck pace to attack everything that the public counts on, the Weather Service, the Federal Airlines Administration. But part of it is there aren't enough communicators on the Democratic side. So I'm not going to list any of the names because then I'll leave 20 of them out, and all those people might be annoyed. But there are a ton of very strong Democratic messengers who have enormous support from their own constituents where they are. They're not yet well known enough across the country, and that's what's got to change.
He's the chairman of the Wisconsin Democratic Party. There's a big debate tonight and a big race coming up for Wisconsin Supreme Court. We'll discuss that with Ben Wickler, my guest on the Political Power Hour, coming up after this break.
Spanning the State with Kristen Bry.
This is a terrible bill. This would probably disproportionately affect Republican women. This is a slippery slope if you start making it harder for women to vote because there's enough people out there who would rather we didn't.
And Brian Noonan.
Say women were in charge, and this was going for men. Men would take to the streets. Any group that votes against their own self-interest baffles me.
Weekdays from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. only on WTMJ.
Are you over 18 years old, over 280 pounds, and interested in participating in a clinical research study? If so, you may be eligible to participate in a research study involving MRI scanning. You may qualify to participate if you are 18 years of age or older and not employed by GE Healthcare, are able to hear and understand English, are over 280 pounds, are not pregnant, do not have any tattoos or permanent makeup, have no implants with the exception of permanent orthodontic retainers and breast implants. Pierre O'Godden is a principal investigator for the study being held at 3200 North Grandview Boulevard in Waukesha. Study scans are investigational, and the use of these devices has not been cleared by the FDA. The study is not being performed for diagnostic purposes. It is not intended to replace your medical care. Your appointment will last up to 4 hours, and for your time and travel to GE Healthcare in Waukesha, you'll be offered a gift card valued at $80 per appointment at GE Healthcare's MRI facility. To learn more, please call GE Healthcare at 262-312-7855. Again, that's 262-312-7855.
We're on the air in 3, 2...
Hey, it's Vince Vitrano. John Mercure here. Wait, does that car say Pella on the side? What's Gina Della doing here?
Sorry, I'm late.
We're on the air in 3, 2...
Recognize my voice? Get used to it.
Talk all things Windows, business, and being a boss in more ways than one with Gina Della from Pella's very own show right here on WTMJ. Starting February 1st, tune into What's the Difference every Saturday morning at 6:30 or stream anytime on WTMJ.com.
What a tease.
Thanks for listening and finding us on this Wednesday morning here in southeastern Wisconsin. Hope it's great where you are. Wherever that is, we're streaming across all 50 states and, as I found out recently, other countries as well, like Germany, the UK, Portugal, of all places. I love that. Thanks for finding us. And maybe my appearances on the BBC have done something for my international appeal. Anyway, that's just me bragging. All right, Ben Wickler, chairman of the Wisconsin Democratic Party. There's a debate tonight between the candidates for Wisconsin Supreme Court, Dane County Judge Susan Crawford, and Waukesha County Judge Brad Schimmel. I'm sure you have a take on this race and this debate. Let's start with the debate. What do you expect to hear and see tonight, Ben?
Well, unfortunately, I'm guessing Brad Schimmel will not have the courage to say in the debate what he's been saying at Republican events, where he's been saying that Trump was screwed over in 2020 when the Supreme Court didn't overturn the presidential election, where he said last year on a talk radio show that his donor base sees this as a chance to take back the court. And his donor base is now Elon Musk, who's put in $10.2 million as of this morning, the most we've ever seen from either side by a mile in any judicial election. I don't think he's going to talk about the 1849 abortion ban, which previously he talked about how he was glad that stayed in place, even during the Roe versus Wade era, because he wanted to be there if Roe versus Wade was struck down. These are all things that are the reason why he's getting support from the most extreme right-wing elements in our politics. But he's not putting any of those things into his ads. He's running ads just about crime, which he has his own problems on, given his record on rape kits, not testing them, and on giving special
let's talk about
deals
that.
to
Let's
people.
talk about that one, because that's obviously the focus of a lot of these commercials and these ad campaigns. In your mind, Ben Wickler, because I'm gonna ask both candidates. They're both going to be on my show next week. What's the reality here? What is the actual story about the rape kits going back a few years and how they were handled either by AG Brad Schimmel or anyone else that was in office at that time?
So I've spoken to Jill Karofsky at this, who was running the crime victims unit in the Department of Justice when Brad Schimmel was AG. And she told me, she said at an event, she's talked about this publicly, that she went to Schimmel and said that there were all these untested rape kits, and she needed, increased funds to make sure that they got tested so that people could be tracked down. He said no. It wasn't until later, when it started becoming a political issue, and then he got additional funds from the legislature and he expanded the program, that they started testing all these things. But it is possible to find the funds and do that research, and there were people who were, rapists who were convicted on the basis of DNA evidence in those untested test kits that didn't get tracked down until they finally started testing them when Schimmel was taking heat for it. So everything that I know says that for the first 2 years as Attorney General, I think he tested 9 kits. He basically did nothing, and it didn't become a priority until he started taking political heat from it. And to me, what shows character is what you do when nobody's watching. And when this was not a public issue, he just sat on this evidence about very serious felony crimes, sexual assault crimes, that he could have tracked down.
One of the things that you mentioned was the funding. I do think it's a fair question and a reality that if you don't have funding, it's sort of hard to ramp up anything. I'm not suggesting that he had the ability to go find private funds to do this. So if that's how the money is laid out, that's how the legislature decides these things, you'll have this amount of money, then you could do these things. Why is that his responsibility? Wouldn't that fall on the legislature?
Well, I think the question is, if there's an urgent priority, you don't have money for it, do you go seek money for it? And the answer to that is no, he didn't do that until he started taking political heat for it. If you don't have the money to test sexual assault kits, that is something that there's enormous public support for, public demand for. That's why it's become such a heated issue in this race. And he was silent on this. He didn't do anything to advocate for resources. He didn't do anything to find resources that he could move across departments or what have you. This is one of these things where when a Republican Attorney General goes to a Republican state legislature and says we need funding to test rape kits, the answer will always be yes. And he just didn't do it. He sat on his hands until he was attacked by Democrats for not taking sexual assault evidence seriously. And that to me is a really damning issue, and it was a core part of how he became known as Backlog Brad in the 2018 Attorney General's race, and he lost re-election. And now he's trying to rewrite history. I don't think it's going to work. I think people are still mad about it, especially if you are somebody who has any connection to someone whose sexual assault kit was not tested during that period.
What else do you think the candidates are going to say tonight in the debates?
Well, there's this big shadow hanging over this race, which is Elon Musk pouring in more money than anyone's ever put into a judicial race, $10.2 million. Elon Musk has his own case that would make him make money for himself, that he's is moving its way through the Wisconsin court system. So he has a personal financial stake in the outcome here. But on top of that, he is trying to eliminate any possibility of accountability from state courts, the same way he seems to have bought the entire presidency. And the question of whether Schimmel will, tell Elon Musk to get out of the race, whether he'll commit to saying no to attempts to overturn elections from people like Donald Trump, I think that's a really elemental core thing in this moment, because what is happening at the federal level is terrifying and infuriating, and Schimmel's being bankrolled massively by the source of the most obscene corruption we've ever seen, someone who is gutting the Veterans Administration and Social Security Administration, violating the Constitution and federal law constantly, and meanwhile trying to buy the highest court in the most pivotal state in American politics.
Do you think that Democrats and their funders and supporters and donors aren't doing the same thing?
Nobody who is donating a dime to the Democratic Party of Wisconsin, to Susan Crawford, is operating as the de facto president, undermining Social Security, veterans benefits, defunding cancer research, destroying the Department of Education, that is all happening because of Elon Musk.
Yeah,
Elon
I
Musk
understand that part of it. That's sort of a unique thing, and I'm not a fan of Musk. Anybody who listens to the show knows that. But just on the funds that are coming into this race, which will probably be the most expensive Supreme Court race in the history of this country, I guess I'm having a hard time seeing why one's bad on the other side, but then whatever you do on your side is okay. Explain the difference from your perspective.
So I think there's two big things. One is that the biggest threat to the American system of government at this moment, it's the fusion of Elon Musk and Donald Trump. It is the way that they are destroying the federal constitution, destroying the capacity of the federal government, operating outside the law, and he's threatening to impeach judges left and right. And for that specific human being, Elon Musk, the richest person in the world, who is posting constantly about removing judges who try to get in his way, to buy the Wisconsin court system is itself a threat to American democracy. So, and there's just no equivalent on the other side, even remotely. And then the second thing, which to me is smaller but is significant, is that to my knowledge, there's no massive donor who has their own case that will affect their bottom line moving through the Wisconsin court system on either side, other than Elon Musk, who has his special case about the Tesla dealerships. He just was selling Teslas to Trump on the White House lawn in front of global media.
Oh, trust me, we're going to get to that one after the bottom of the hour news. I'm looking forward to that one. Hey, we got to leave.
And here he is doing the same thing in Wisconsin.
Yeah, real quick. Ben, always appreciate the conversation. You're always welcome on the program. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Ben Wickler, Democratic chair in Wisconsin. All right, lots more to get to. We got local news coming up. I'm excited to talk to all of you today. I mean, we got a great segment coming up about Elon Musk and cars. That's all coming up in a little bit right here on 620 WTMJ.
Warmer temps are on the way. It's time for the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin Spring Home Improvement Showcase on WTMJ. Get all the tips, tricks, and best practices to improve your home with our trusted partners, including Kohler Services, Yutka Fence, and Ridgetop Exteriors. So be listening for all of our interviews coming up on the air. Plus, we'll post everything for you. You can listen anytime at WTMJ.com. It's the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin Spring Home Improvement Showcase, only here on WTMJ.
Hey, this is WTMJ's Steve Scaffidi for Annex Wealth Management. I was just out of the webinar yesterday. We'll have that available for you pretty soon here. But on the way to retirement, there are many decisions you need to make right now. It's easy to miss a few. It's time to focus with Annex Wealth Management. There's an art and a science to successful retirement planning. Sure, savings and investments are important, but so is making sure your retirement plan is aligned with your goals. That's what Annex does. They'll guide you step by step with important decisions like when to take Social Security, if you should consider those Roth conversions, and how to implement smart tax planning. Annex, this is a distinction that matters. Annex is a feeling fiduciary. It's about you, not commissions. There are CFPs, CFAs, CPAs, PhDs, and attorneys, all who I've met personally are on staff and part of your team and my team working on investment, retirement, estate, and tax planning. No one's the same. Annex gets that. When you're a client of Annex, help is only a quick phone call away, but it won't happen until you make the decision, take action, and know the difference. Start at annexwealth.com.
We love being a trusted friend in the community for those who need an attorney but don't know where to turn. Our clients aren't the kind of people who typically bring lawsuits. Our clients have been hurt in a crash or accident and need our help and advice. I'm Jeff Zergabel of Pasternak and Zergabel. Frank Pasternak and I are injury lawyers living, working, and giving back in our community. When you need help from exceptional personal injury lawyers, go to Pasternak and Zergabel at injurywisconsin.com.
Hey, John Mercure here for Guthrie and Fry Water Conditioning. My reverse osmosis system in my house is fantastic. The water I drink, the water we feed the dogs, the water we cook with is crisp, clean, and clear thanks to Guthrie and Fry's RO system. It's technology that's been around for a long time, but it's the best in the business, and Guthrie and Fry will get it to you. It's affordable, it's effective, and you'll feel a lot better. It's all about the science. Southeast Wisconsin's #1 choice, and my choice is Guthrie and Fry Water Conditioning.
Better water makes a big difference. Guthrie and Fry.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hard-working partners, so they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
Thanks to Wisconsin's Democratic Chair, Ben Wickler, for joining. I understand that everyone has thoughts about what he said, and that question is a big one. The drug rape kits have been the focus of a lot of attention on the ads related to this campaign, and I'm going to ask both candidates because we're interviewing them next week, and we'll have the entire interviews on our program, I believe, next Wednesday. Adam Roberts from News is going to actually help you on the interview part of those conversations. Looking forward to that with Adam Roberts, who's really good at what he does. And speaking of Adam, he'll be doing the local news update in a second. After the news, though, we're going to talk a little bit about this car dealership that apparently is located at the White House on the grounds. Surprise, surprise. Tesla dealership, of all things. Wonder why that is. We'll get to that. And then Dr. Ken Harris will join us a little bit later in the half hour. So local news coming up with Adam Roberts. Before we get to any of that, here's now the latest from ABC.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Longtime Democratic Senator Jeanne Shaheen says she will not seek re-election next year, dealing a significant blow to her party trying to reclaim a Senate majority. Shaheen was the first person to serve as both governor and senator in the U.S., and she turns 78 next January. The latest inflation report comes out today. Prices cooling a little. Expectations were exceeded. Prices up another 2.8% compared to last year at this time. It's good news, but, says ABC Chief Business Correspondent Rebecca Jarvis.
The report, though, makes a Fed rate cut much less likely when they meet next week because it puts inflation, which had been going up so rapidly, in a place that's more manageable. And the Federal Reserve in this environment is much less likely to cut, meaning those credit card and mortgages stay about where they are.
Retaliatory tariffs coming from Europe and Canada to their U.S. tariff on steel and aluminum. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 9:31. I'm Adam Roberts. A teen arrested in Kansas for theft of his dead stepfather's property has now been booked into the Waukesha County Jail. 17-year-old Nikita Kassip currently charged with stealing his stepfather Donald Meyer's car as well as a handgun. No charges have been filed related to the deaths of Meyer or Kassip's daughter Tatiana. Both were found dead earlier this month in their Waukesha home. Meanwhile, a 15-year-old boy charged with killing his mother in her Franksville home is set to appear in court again today. Investigators say Reed Galinsky may have been inspired by a Netflix documentary on the Menendez brothers when he allegedly hit his mother with a dumbbell before repeatedly stabbing her. Court has set his bail at $1 million. And later today, the Wisconsin Elections Commission could take further action regarding nearly 200 uncounted ballots in the city of Madison during the 2024 general election. The commission last week voted to force Madison city workers to sit for depositions, likely including City Clerk Mary Beth Witzel Bell. WEC has not yet made a decision on whether Witzel Bell acted illegally or improperly. Time now for news about your money, the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Checking those numbers. They've been in flux all week this week, and right now the Dow is down 202 points, about 0.5% at 41,231. Though the NASDAQ is showing some gains today, up 140 points this hour at 17,576, while the S&P 500 clawing its way close to 6,000, but a way to go yet, up 12 on the day at 5,586. Financial planning at every level, Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Checking the roads now, your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. Still just have that broken down vehicle 4145 south at the ramp from Good Hope Road. That's on the right shoulder there. Everywhere else is looking good this hour. Earlier delays on 43 north between Fond du Lac and Capitol Drive. Those have been cleared up. Your drive times right now are looking very good. And your WTMJ forecast, mostly sunny for much of us today. Highs, though, will struggle to get above 45 if you're near the lake. Away from Lake Michigan, we'll see temperatures in the low to mid 50s today. Mostly clear down to 32 tonight. Everyone's in the 50s on Thursday under mostly sunny skies. Then watching late Friday for a chance for rain and some thunderstorms. Some of those storms could be strong. 61 the high near the lake, could be at 70 inland on Friday. Saturday mostly cloudy, 57. Sunday cooler with some flurries possible, a high of 39 degrees. Right now in Oshkosh, it is mostly cloudy and 37. Right now in Brookfield, some sun filtering in and 38. And in Milwaukee, sunny skies and 37. I'm Adam Roberts. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 9:34.
In 1964, we were making strides towards space travel.
Mary Poppins was the #1 movie in theaters.
And the Beatles were taking America by storm.
Which was long before I was born.
Facts. 1964 is also the year it all started for Richland's Tire and Service Centers. 60 years of continuous growth and more happy customers than you can shake a stick at.
Okay, the streamers are a bit overkill. It's just us in the studio.
All right. But it's important to know accomplishments like these aren't possible without a dedicated team. So hats off to them and our founder, my dad, Dick Mitchke, for understanding the importance of customer focus.
Facts. There's no 60 years of anything without you, the customer, which is why our focus will remain on you and only you for years to come.
Thank you from all of us here at Richland's Tire and Service Centers.
Richland's Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richland's.
At Kendor Marine, we have everything you need but the water. For over 50 years, boaters have found that to be true. Because when they've needed that old part they thought they'd never find, guess what? They found it here, along with everything else you need to keep your boat out there on the water. This is Dave Doro, and boaters in the know exactly where to go. Kendor Marine, 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin.
Hey boaters, cruise to Kendor Marine. We got everything you need but the water.
KendorMarine.com.
Hey boaters.
Well, if you have an old boat, new boat, or in between, then Kendor Marine is a great place for you to shop. Because not only do we have all the parts and accessories you need for almost any kind of boat, we also have the expert advice that just about any boater is one day gonna need. I'm Dave Doro, and boaters in the know exactly where to go. Kendor Marine, 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin.
Hey boaters, cruise to Kendor Marine. We got everything you need but the water.
KendorMarine.com.
All right. We've got another half hour here on the Political Power Hour, 620 WTMJ. Don't forget, all of our shows are available on our podcast page or wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Political Power Hour with Steve Scaffidi. That's me. And thanks for all of you for tuning in on this Hump Day broadcast. And also, all my other podcasts are available as well. Scaffidiology. We got a great interview with Brian Niznansky, who is fun to talk to, and we went all over the place, including his love for UWM, my alma mater, and his, and talking about the meteorology program there and what's happening and going on in the world of weather. So that's up on Scaffidiology Podcast, available wherever you get your podcast. And don't forget, you need to listen with my pal and teammate, Kristen Bry. We talked about billionaires and Elon Musk, who's going to be my next subject matter here on the program on our last episode. And this week, we're going to record another episode for next week's publishing, which will have to do with the whole issue of politics. Are they personal? That's a big one. I can't wait to have that conversation with Kristen this week. All right. Elon Musk is an interesting character. He is essentially co-president, along with the guy that got elected, Donald J. Trump. Spends a lot of time at the White House. Yesterday, on the south lawn of the White House, Musk and the President Donald Trump essentially set up a Tesla showroom. Most people think it was a favor from Donald J. Trump to Elon Musk. Tesla delivered 5 vehicles to the White House, parked them on a driveway for Trump to support, inspect, and he actually said he's going to buy one. Here's a little bit of the audio from that showroom / Tesla parking lot.
They gave me notes. I said, I'm not Biden. I don't need notes.
I'll take a look. President Trump, are you looking to buy or lease today?
Well, I'm going to buy. And I'm going to buy because, number one, it's a great product, as good as it gets. And number two, because this man has devoted his energy and his life to doing this. And I think he's been treated very unfairly by a very small group of people. And I just want people to know that you can't be penalized for being a patriot. And I'm just saying, beyond the cars, they're great. But we have to celebrate somebody that has the courage to do this. He could have said, I'm not doing anything. I'm not going to get involved. Let the country go to hell. He didn't want to do that.
All right, a couple things here. One, forget the shot at Biden. That's what Donald Trump does. They all do it. It's politics 101, and it's just stupid. And it's always will be stupid, and that's one of the reasons why we have people that lead our countries and our states, sometimes even our communities, who spend a lot more time talking than they actually are doing things. But on the issue of Musk and the idea of a patriot defined by Musk, I don't know that a patriot would be someone who would take dollars and employees out of a Veterans Administration who serve, frankly, the people amongst us who have essentially sacrificed their lives, fought our battles, have to leave their families to serve our country's militaries. So I'd be careful with the use of the term patriot. But beyond that, the fact that this president, and I deal with facts on this show. I know the other shows, read the political party talking points. I don't care about that stuff. I would rip that up. This is a president who 2 years ago said he doesn't know, and I'm paraphrasing, why anybody in their right mind would drive one of these vehicles. So what happened? Well, what happened was, millions of dollars pouring into the Trump campaign from Elon Musk, essentially buying a co-presidency. But beyond that, just the look of treating the White House, South Lawn in this case, as a Tesla parking lot or showroom, sort of bastardizes and cheapens the office of president, in my opinion. Presidents certainly can have opinions. This one really has opinions and is not afraid to express them, which, let's be honest, most voters agreed with that. And he has a right to be in there. He's the president of the United States, won in a fair election, something he didn't acknowledge when the previous occupant of the White House won in a fair election in 2020. So if I'm looking at this story from the lens of just an observer of politics, which is sort of what I'm paid to do, it sort of continues this slow degradation of the protocols, image, professionalism. There's about a million terms you could use of the office of presidents and certainly the White House. I don't want the White House up for sale. I don't want it cheapened by this stuff. Now, I don't like Elon Musk. I've called him a lot of names. And I always have to say this because people always come back at me in emails and texts and say, oh my God, you don't like efficiency? I love efficiency. Trust me. I was known for that, both in the private and public sectors. But there's a proper way to do things. And to indiscriminately cut things with no review, no expertise, no analysis, sometimes no data, because this president has given you the opportunity to do so, seems like a cheap way to do business. And for all those Muskites out there who adore this individual, he's essentially lost a quarter of his wealth in the last 2 months. Why do you think that was? Because people, voters, are overwhelmingly saying, yeah, we like efficiency, but not this kind of efficiency. This guy's a tool. He's an idiot. And yeah, right now he's the richest guy in the world. And I tweeted this out yesterday or posted it, whatever. Nothing would make me happier at the end of this Musk experience or Musk era of U.S. government that I can say loudly and proudly, Elon Musk's not the richest guy in the world anymore. That would make me happy. And maybe that is wishing bad news on somebody, but this guy kind of deserves it. After the break, Dr. Ken Harris, 620 WTMJ.
The Beach Boys, the Sounds of Summer Tour. Friday, May 23rd at the Riverside Theater. The music, the memories, the Beach Boys, riding an endless summer rave. Get tickets Friday, 10 a.m. at PabsTheaterGroup.com. Don't miss the Beach Boys, the Sounds of Summer Tour, live.
Hey, this is WTMJ's Steve Scaffidi here for Milwaukee Weight Loss. I love talking about them today. 35 plus pounds. That's what I've lost already. It's the secret, by the way, to losing 1 pound of fat every day. Their doctors developed easy to follow weight loss program. I can follow it. You can too. Helps you lose weight fast, naturally, safely, with no drugs or injections. No risk of serious side effects. No prepackaged meals, bars, shakes. No exercising if you don't want to. I walk, which is certainly okay. Their program helps reset your metabolism. That's the big phrase that I think really nails it. You can keep the weight off for good. Outstanding coaching. I've got my coach, Emily, meeting with her this afternoon, actually. Their programs cost up to half as much and work up to twice as fast as other programs. Go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Schedule your free, no-obligation consultation. Most patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or two. Look at me. I'm a success story. You can be, too. Schedule your free consultation by calling. Write it down, 262-449-1180, or go to online at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com.
I'm not against shopping online. In fact, you can check out our huge selection at BurkhartSportingGoods.com. But when you're ready to buy, Burkhart should be your only stop. Because here, you can grab hold of the Midwest's largest selection of baseball bats, gloves, and equipment, and take all the swings you need in our indoor batting cages to make sure you buy the right bat. And when you buy your new mitt, we'll steam and custom fit it for you right on the spot. This is Brian Burkhart, and when you love baseball and softball like we do,
You can't beat Burkhart.
if you're in charge of uniforms and equipment, you want to get the most value for your team's budget. You want the most for your money, and you want the process to be easy. Because you already have enough on your plate. We get it. Burkhart Sporting Goods Team Outfitting Division is the best you'll find. With an abnormally high customer satisfaction rate and our own silk screening and embroidery facility for quality control. So if you want the highest quality team outfitting and incredible service,
You can't beat Burkhart.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 255368.
At Wisconsin's own AccuNet Mortgage, our closing costs are typically $1,000 to $3,000 less than the banks or the mortgage guys with the Rocket for exactly the same rate. Find out how much you can save at accunet.com.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. So I was looking at some of the bushes that have overgrown on my property, and I love our yard, but I need dormant pruning. That's what takes place during the winter when it's safe to cut back things so you have healthier trees and bushes around your house. Check right now to see if you've got stuff scraping against the siding or needs to be cut back, and schedule it now. Design Build landscaping projects are a year-round topic. Landworks Wisconsin does it the right way every time. They help people achieve their outdoor dreams by creating beautiful landscapes. I love these guys. LandworksWisconsin.com. Check them out today.
Always looking forward to my conversations with Dr. Ken Harris. You hear him in the afternoon on 101.7 The Truth. Dr. Ken, how are you on this fine Wednesday?
I am doing extremely well. I think you play better music than me.
Wow, that's a good compliment. I'll pass that one on.
I think I might be stealing some music here.
Maybe they saved the good music for your appearance. Maybe that's what the story is here.
Go.
All right, so big debate tonight. Wisconsin Supreme Court, 2 judges, one Dane County, Susan Crawford, one Waukesha County, Brad Schimmel. What do you expect to hear? What are you looking to hear tonight?
I really don't care what they say. I know what I don't want to hear.
All right, give me that.
I do not want to hear you talk about your personal beliefs in abortion or anything that has to do or shows bias for you as a Wisconsin Supreme Court judge. I don't care. Protasewicz did it. It was a terrible thing to do because you told me that no matter what legal training you've had, no matter how much experience you had in the district attorney's office or as a judge, in the end, you are going to vote your conscience, not what the rule of law says. So if either of them do any of them, I may not be voting for anybody.
You know, it is interesting that we ask these candidates for Supreme Court, Wisconsin Supreme Courts, to answer questions about being a justice on the highest court in our states. But at the same time, we don't really want them to talk about specific cases or even some of the topics and issues they're going to be dealing with. It's sort of like, why do we even have this debate?
That's true. And so we're at a precipice in Wisconsin, right? We've got this Supreme Court ruling that we're going to need as it relates to abortion. And you've got a Supreme Court right now that is totally biased by virtue of the fact that they're stringing it out when they know they're supposed to have that decision in. Mm-hmm. And I do believe it's late.
Yeah. So they have been stringing it out a little bit.
Right. So what kind of terrible justices do we have on, quote unquote, both sides of the aisle that would string it out so that they can see who's going to get the majority on a court? It's terrible. And for that, I don't put much faith in it.
Dr. Ken Harris, Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken, 101.7 The Truth, one of our partner stations here at GKB. One of the things I talked about with one of my guests earlier was the amount of money coming into this race. Do you have a thought on what we should be doing with the way we're funding these races? It seems so extravagant and, frankly, just for me, a waste of money because as soon as I see one of these ads, I turn it off.
My suggestion for the school board would be the same for the Supreme Court in Wisconsin. If you have a direct tie to anything that the court might do, if you're a district attorney, if you're a prosecutor, if you're a defense attorney, you cannot give a dime to that race. If you work with MPS and you're in a union, and the union should not be able to give any money to anybody running for the board of school directors. I think the same should be for the Supreme Court, because now you have just got, I've never seen this many millions of dollars for a Supreme Court seat. Like it's not like it's lifetime. It's only 10 years.
You know, this is the crazy thing for me, because I spent a lot of time talking about the economy with my guests on the program and how people are, they're feeling the impact. But yet we see these races, some people spending millions and millions of dollars. Is it a sort of a reality now that we just have this super elite class of billionaires and then everybody else has to just deal with their own stuff?
Absolutely. And so now the people's voice is not being heard because it's being overshadowed by who has the most money. I look at ads from both of them, Crawford and Schimmel, and I think to myself, I wouldn't want to vote for either one of you.
Well, that's going to be an interesting choice we have to make. That's coming up in a month here in Wisconsin. Dr. Ken, I look forward to my appearances on your show. I will be on a week from Friday, and you'll be back the week after that on my program. Always enjoy the conversation and the wisdom you share. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Dr. Ken Harris, Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken. If you have never listened to his show, it's an award-winning show, by the way, Wisconsin Broadcast Association. He is one of the best at doing what we do. And if you hear the commentary, you'll understand why. He doesn't hold back. For example, he was on with Vince and Eric this morning. Go back and listen to that podcast, The Morning Show, Wisconsin Morning News. Listen to what he had to say about his feelings about the new hire for MPS. And to his comments, I say, I couldn't agree more. Show me something. And unless that's built into this contract, as Dr. Ken suggested, I don't see how anything is going to change. All right, we'll wrap up the program and get to the news at the top after this on 620 WTMJ.
Wisconsin's afternoon news is here for you, bringing you the latest headlines with John McCure.
From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, a decision has been made in the Morgan Geyser case. She's connected to the Slumber Man stabbing.
And diving into the details with Julia Fellow.
Her lawyer and family have been trying to get her released from the mental institution for years.
Tune in to Wisconsin's afternoon news, where your day's story unfolds. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. Only here on WTMJ.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for Advent. I love talking about Advent. I just told somebody about this away from the show the other day. Yes, it works. Yes, you should do something about it. Why in the world would you put up with restless nights of sleep, snoring, which is not just a personal issue because it can be dangerous, but two, you're bothering your sleep partner, and they just want to get a good night's sleep as well. So I did something about it. I went to Advent. My wife, Kathy, encouraged me to go. 30-minute visit. They put me at ease, answered my questions. We added in a really simple sleep study at home in my own bed. And you know what? Short procedure, I'm back to breathing better than ever. Again last night. I know this is sort of a broken record for me. Slept solid 7.5 hours. Trust me, you feel better about yourself. You're going to certainly be rested and refreshed. To find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your nights, your life better, go to adventknows.com, schedule an appointment today, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Shop Steinhafels Make It Your Own event. Save up to $800 on the largest selection of sofas, dining sets, bedroom furniture, and more. All customizable so you can create the perfect piece for your space. And take advantage of Steinhafels' 18-month financing, only at Steinhafels.
Debbie Lazaga here for Kohler Services. If you've been putting off your bath or shower remodel, now's the time to turn to Kohler Services. Family owned for 150 years, Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life. This month only, get $1,000 off your Luckstone shower remodel and no payment financing until 2026. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote, with fast professional installation always included. That's KohlerServicesWI.com.
If you need a place for new home interior ideas, then you have to come talk to us. Our
Our on-staff decorators know furniture, home decor, and a lot more. And they're not only creative, but also very willing to help you make great choices. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating taste come to find premium home decor at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee. Stop in often because our inventory changes daily.
Design Exchange.
Previously, it has been gently loved, but here you'll only find very well-conditioned premium home decor items that you likely won't find elsewhere. Distinctive furniture, unique antiques, and original art, and other tasteful home decor at a value. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating taste come to find premium home decor on consignment at 25 to 40% off retail prices in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Fly me to the moon.
Thanks to my guest on today's program, Ben Wickler, chair of the Wisconsin Democratic Party. It was a great interview, actually, and if you missed any of it or all of it, you can find it on our podcast page. Probably about early this afternoon, mid-afternoon, you'll be able to hear our entire program. And if it matters to you, without the commercials. Although we got a lot of great commercials, great partners here at WTMJ. And then Dr. Ken Harris, a lot of love for Dr. Ken on the text line, the Signing Unlimited, WTMJ talking text line. Always enjoy our conversations. I join him every other Friday. So not this Friday, but a week from Friday, I'll be on his program at 4:15. I do that every other week. Somebody asked about Sherwin Hughes. Actually, I just talked to Sherwin Hughes. We just celebrated a birthday, by the way. Big birthday. We're going to record an interview because he's on at the same time as me. I don't know if you knew that on 101.7 The Truth. We're going to record an interview that we're going to play on my program, and maybe his too, with Sherwin Hughes. That's coming up next week. A quick thought. I saw that, or heard on WTMJ when I was listening yesterday about the passing of Junior Bridgman. I actually had a chance to meet him a couple times. He owned Wendy's franchises, including one in Oak Creek. Got to meet him a few times. Wonderful gentleman. Really a great businessman and obviously a billionaire. That's not easy to achieve. Even Elon Musk got to give him credit for getting to that number, although he's rapidly losing that money. But Junior Bridgman was just a all-around solid guy. I had the great fortune to watch him play when he's a member of the Bucks for 10 years, when I was a younger man. And great player, just a great team guy, all-around smart, generous. He's very, very generous to local charities as well. So a life well lived, certainly, and a gentleman that certainly deserves our respect and appreciation. Died far too young at the age of 71. So Junior Bridgman, you will be missed. That is a big loss for our community and, frankly, for our country. A very graceful, gracious, smart, and intelligent man. News is next.
It isn't about, well, they went on and made this amount of money or did these things. It's about, did they contribute to society? Were they an example for people to want to be like them? And did they live good lives? And I would say that, that's where we had tremendous success.
Are you ready to shake things up at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee? All you gotta do is toss your rewards card into your favorite slots for drawing entries and a chance to be in the Roll for Riches game show. What's on the table? Oh, just $300K in cash and prizes. Play this March, and Thursday nights, you could get on a winning streak that